Hello and welcome back. We're on for part 2 of End of the Road. I left you in the point where Queen Latifah's character was going to go into the other room to check and see what was going on. Because she was upset. She was like, what if there's a domestic violence situation and there's a woman in there that could potentially be dying? I don't want to leave that person up in there. If the Lord don't give you direction to interfere with that. Because sometimes we got the goodest of the best of hearts with the best intentions. If the Lord did not tell you to go get involved with certain situations, you may be asking for warfare that you don't need. God allots a path for us to go. We veer off course. We end up in wrong destinations, which lead to a whole lot more warfare than we initially would have had to go through. Remember, children in Israel, they was out there in the desert for an 11-day trip that took 40 years. Don't go off in directions that you don't know that the Lord told you to go to. Be careful. You might end up detouring yourself way longer than you had to. Now, what ends up happening? They get over. Her and the uncle go into the other room to check to see what's going on. She opens the door only to find the guy. Somebody had been shot. And when they got shot, they were shot in the side of their neck. So she goes, and being the nurse that she is, she grabs, she said, give me towels. And she trying to hold it. And I just wanted to come on now. Now we know. This person done got shot. They died. They died. Holding no towel to their neck is not going to help. They have busted an artery. It's over for this person. But she tries to save them anyway. Because us as Christians, we have that tendency. I'm going to try to save everybody. You could be bleeding out to death, dying. It's like, I'm going to try to save you. Some people, I'm not saying, but some people are unsavable. There's a whole word right there. Some people you cannot save. Because even the word says that he gives people over to their own delusions at a certain point. And he's going to allow them to sink into their own little pit. So, the brother goes in the bathroom to grab the towels and sees the bag in there that has all the money. And he sees it, backs out, hands her the towel. The guy ends up dying. So they end up, it's the next morning, the police are all over the place. They done taped off parts of the building. And here comes the sheriff. He comes in and he checks out everything. And he comes to operate in his fullness of his capacity as the sheriff. And he's checking the blood stains and the bullet and all of this. He gets the bullet out the wall, all that. And the deputy that's standing there, he's like, where's the witnesses? You said there was 2 witnesses. Where'd they go? It's like, oh, we let them go. They already gave us our statement. He's like, they already gave you the statement and you let them go? You realize that this guy was attached to a drug cartel, right? And because he was attached to a drug cartel, that if there's anybody that even thinks that they heard what happened, know what happened, or understood what happened, can identify the voice of them. Do you realize that they're in danger for their lives? And we have a worse situation here. It could be more than just this one guy ended up dead. The whole 4 of them could end up dead. The guy's like, I'm sorry. Meanwhile, they in the car again. They driving it like, we ain't going back there. We don't want to see nothing in relation to that. But she gets a phone call from the police chief. And the police chief saying, come back because, and she's like, why? I already gave your deputy the statement. Why do I need to come back? I'm leaving with my family. You don't want to have nothing to do with that. With everything that has transpired. If there's anything that you all need to talk to me about, I'll call you later. But I can't talk about it right now. We're not trying to think about that right now. I'll wait till we get settled. And he's like, but hangs up the phone. And the guy's like, the brother's like, I'm not going nowhere near that situation. Let me tell you something. When enemy think he got you in a trap, he gonna come at you nice first. I talk about this in the previous video, except I talk about it backwards. The enemy comes at you as many ways in which he thinks that he can get to you. He may attack. He may create a situation. He may do something in order to create confusion within you. If he can't do that, he's going to try to come at you real nice. Because if he comes at you real nice, you'll have a tendency that you'll be like, oh, I'll listen to him. When that strategy doesn't work, remember, as I said in one of the previous videos, if that strategy don't work, it comes in a different format, a way of attack, meaning that didn't work. Let me come at you a different way. So they're like, no, we ain't coming back. Any Christian that gets out of a situation, you're not going back to where you went. That's Christianomics 101. I just got out of a bad situation. I'm not turning around and going back there for any reason whatsoever. Warfare rule number 1. I'm not going to get stuck in that mess. Anyway, she gets a phone call. It's from this woman, Brenda, blah, 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 and calls her by her name and all this kind of stuff. She said, how do you know my name? And the person's like, we know you have the money. And the brother sitting there, he didn't hear nothing that was going on. He's like, what you talking about? What money? I have no idea what you're talking about. And it's that element. He's like, we know you have it. And we want our money back. And this, that, and the other. And she's like, yeah, okay, whatever. She hangs up the phone. She's like, I don't know who this crazy person was talking about. I had their money and da-da-da-da. So they get to where they going, which is a little like farm place. And they were eating at the burger joint that was right across from it. And there was a little hotel nearby. Now, the brother's like, I know you say I'm always the mess up person. Now, let me explain something to you right here. What I just say in the previous video in part 1 of this. Be cautious of the people that you have in your vehicle. Because the people that you have in your vehicle are either going to be an asset to you or a hindrance to you. Because if you're the only one walking with God to the level that you are walking with the Lord, you got to be careful about the ones that think they smart and know everything that be in your vehicle. Because they the ones that will immediately walk in the trap. I did a video a while back talking about what do you call it? The GPS system, supernatural GPS system. I always refer to this. If you haven't watched that video, go look at the supernatural GPS system. My dad was driving the car. I'm trying to tell him the direction and he's not listening to me. He wouldn't go and ask everybody else for their instructions. And I'm telling you from the GPS that you're going in the right direction. Because it's taking too long for his liking, he got to go ask other people. These are the people that you may have in your vehicle. They don't trust your judgment because you're the Christian one. And they think that they got they worldly factoid, I know how to operate in this world type thing. And you taking too long. So they going to go and do what they want to do. So bro, done went out there and did something dumb. Can you figure out what he did? He done took the money. And he shows her the money. And she's like, this what that woman was talking about on the phone? Oh my God, I can't believe you dummy. gotta be careful of the people that you have in your vehicle, because if they ain't as smart as you are, they will literally take the bait that the enemy gives them in order to get you and everybody associated with you in trouble. You ever heard the saying that you got guilty by association? God will protect you, but at the same time, if the enemy has a foothold, he will use anybody around you to set you up. And in a scenario like that, just because the money is with them makes them look guilty. Okay? Sometimes the person that you associate with, especially if they ain't walking with God, the enemy will walk right into their brain and get them to do something dumb. And because they're in your vehicle, please be careful. So, he explains it. He's like, we can keep half of it, right? And she's like, these people are homicidal, murder, mafia. I don't know what kind of people. Are you crazy? No. We're going to give them their money back. And he's like, but you see how much money that is? Not all money is good money. The enemy will sit you up and sit you in a situation where he will give you the finances of what you were looking for, that you've been praying about. But there is a catch attached to that money for them. There's a mafia boss that's looking for this money. That money is not clean money. I remember I told y'all this about a situation that occurred and happened to me a while ago. It was this woman who associated herself with me, and she called herself giving me a bag. She gave me the bag. It's like, oh, I want to give you this. And I was like, oh, thank you. But then I went and I checked out the bag, and she gave it to me a night before at a church service. And I am famous that if I have money, I'm going to give to that church. She gave it to me, and it was something written on the front of it. I could not make out what was written on it. And it looked like it was signed to be given to somebody else. So I'm looking at it now. This is where the enemy will mess with your brain and say, well, you got the money. She gave you the bag. Just take it and sow your seed, because you're a seed sower. Just sow your seed off the money. And I'm like, that says that money is supposed to go to somebody. And maybe when she gave me the bag, she didn't know that envelope was in there. And because of that, I'm not going to spend the money, because it's the wrong spirit in which it would have been given to the church if it wasn't mine to give. Now, some people wouldn't be that honest. So I took the money. The next day, I was meeting her for breakfast at the local breakfast place that we normally meet at. And I was like, did you know that you left this in here? And she was like, oh, no. But I later found out that woman was trying to set me up anyway. So that whole thing was a setup, because she attacked me later on. She wanted to see if I was going to do it so that she could attack me. So, point being, in scenarios, the enemy will set you up in the situations where your honesty and your ethical and moral standing could be the difference between life and death for you. It may seem like a little thing, like, oh, well, the money, naturally, if you found it, is yours, right? And I'm going to get to this next point. So she calls the woman back and said, I'm going to set you up and I'm going to make sure that you get your money back. She goes to the hotel, puts the money in the upper back part of the closet. Her emotions all over the place. She gets sick, whatever. She comes out, she leaves, they go where they're going. They've been gone for a while. They get themselves together. And my brother's still freaking out. You gave all that daggone money back. Girl, you know you could have gone back home and saved the entire house with it. This is where the enemy works with you. This way the enemy works with you. This way the enemy works with you. You like, I remember one time I had a seed to sow. I had gotten some money, and I knew I was going to sow this seed. And what the enemy was trying to do with me was he was trying to say, now you know there are things that you need. Why you gonna go and sow that whole thing to them? You know that you could save that money. You gonna sow all that money? You gonna sow all that money? You gonna sow all that? And then as soon as you sow it and leave it at the church, then he start making you think about, well, you know, you could have used that money for this. And see where you don't have that? You could have kept that. And that's the way the enemy do you. And that's what her brother was doing. You know, you could have kept that money and did X, Y, and Z with that. And she slapped him straightly in the face. She's like, no, it was not right. It was not ethical. And do you realize what you're talking about? These people were crazy. And then she's like, and he was like, I'm just trying to do something to help you and your family. I loved your husband too. He was like a brother to me, blah, 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 blah. And they having an emotional moment. And he's like, I just want to do something right in order to help you, in order for you to be able to take care of the kids. And she's like, I know that's what you meant, but we can't do it like this. Get another phone call, because boy, I don't know why, in stupidity's realm of filmmaking, but you know that's the only way that certain things can be done in a film. There has to be that one stupid moment where they go into a little church, and when they go into the little church, they end up finding that when they get in there, they're talking about God and they're talking about all this types of stuff. And the little boy, he said, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. Now the uncle said, I'm gonna go with you. And he's like, no, I don't need to go. Uncle, you don't need to go. Knowing what they're going through, you would think, common sense would say, don't leave nobody alone right now. But common sense aren't always common in movies. In order to progress the storyline, there has to be that one dumb moment. So they left the boy out to go to the bathroom by himself. So they go, her, the oldest daughter, and the uncle go to watch the Western shoot 'em up. Because that's the event they were at. They were at an old Western, what have you, location. So they standing there watching it. The gun goes off, and then all of a sudden she gets a phone call, and the person said, where's our money at? And it's like, I left it. I told you I left it where I was telling you. It's like, this is not your game, sweetie. This is our game. Where our money at? And then she's like, I don't have it. What are you talking about? And they're saying, oh, yes, you do. You have it. And it's like, I don't have it. It's not there. So you have our money. We have something of yours. They find out that the boy's gone. So she has to go back to the hotel to get the money. So here comes that next part I was going to say. Some people have the opinion that and this is something that somebody made a point of saying, and I saw this actually posted on Facebook one time. You're in a scenario. You go to a hotel. You've stayed there. You're staying there at the particular point in time. You go, you look under your mattress because the mattress feels off. You lift the mattress up and find money underneath there. Do you take the money and turn it into the cops, or do you keep it? And some people say, under legal jurisdiction, because you found the money, you don't have to legally take it anywhere. There was a scenario a few years ago here in Maryland where somebody robbed a Brinks truck and took the Brinks truck full of money, and it was before they had marked it. That money wasn't marked. The Brinks truck ended up in an accident collision due to a snowstorm that was happening. That money blew out the back of that vehicle. People that were on the highway stopped their cars and were picking that money up. Ended up, people felt so guilty because they were like, this is a Brinks truck. This probably was going to a bank or something like that. What if I can get in trouble for having this money? There was a woman that took $11,000 back to the bank, only to come to find out that the money wasn't marked. She could have kept that money. Now, in this type of scenario, it comes to moral ethics situation. Now, in this scenario, you got somebody that's trying to kill you. She comes back. The money's gone. There was a maid, okay, that was observing her when she first went up there. This is what your enemy does you. He monitors you when he sees there's a potential form of blessing in order to, set you up, bamboozle the situation, siphon the situation, mess up the scenario because you trying to do the right thing and the enemy know, darn it, she gonna do the right thing. We gotta set her up because we know she gonna do the right thing. So she comes back only to find that the money bag is gone. She comes outside freaking out because the money not there. And they had called her already telling her where the money at. She looks out, sees the dag on, the housekeeper with the green hair going to get in the car. She was like, and she sees the bag. She starts screaming at her, was like, no, you don't. And she starts chasing. The enemy will try to siphon you just before you reach your blessing, to steal your financial blessing, to steal what have you. Now, in some cases, it can be a benefit because of the fact that you be like, oh, well, these are the people that stole it. Go get it from them. But the enemy don't work like that. The enemy be like, no, you got in the middle of this thing. You go get it. Because you're the one that's a Christian that has clean hands. And because they done set you up on both sides, because you got the people that are trying to kill you, and then you got the other person that went and stole from you while you trying to give back to the people that are trying to kill you. It's like you've got an enemy that's trying to take you out while you got a siphoning spirit trying to take your money. It's like only things like this would happen just before you come into a blessing. Only stupidity like this will happen before you come into a blessing. So she chases the woman down full speed in her car, ends up, she's like, I need you to stop your car. Person's like, no. It's like, please, I'm trying to be nice to you. She's like, no. Curse her out the window. She's like, okay. This is where the enemy wants you to get out of your character, because you are the Christian woman, but the spirit woman inside of you, that lion inside of you, that lion of Judah inside of you, that'd be like, Jesus, I'm trying to remain in my Christian standing. And sometimes the Lord actually is like, no, I need for you to get that righteous indignance about you. I know you're a Christian and you're kind, but even Jesus went into the temple and knocked over tables, okay? Sometimes the Lord allows it because he needs you to get your fight up. She irritated. She's like, look, I need you to get... The woman's like, no. I need you. No. And that's what the enemy do you. No. And you're like, look, I done had a bad day today. And you coming at me wrong today. And I don't want to release the Lion of Judah on you. Because technically, some of us, we snatch heads off in the spirit, but we ain't too good when it comes down to a physical confrontation. This is why we call on Jesus. Like, Jesus, we need your help. I can't tell you how many times there's been a scenario where I done got irritated with somebody because that's what the enemy wanted. He wanted me to get irritated with the person, and that person ended up bucking up against me. They bucked up against me because that's what the enemy wanted me to get loud on them, and I did. Because I was getting sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired, because that's the way it happens. You get pushed and you get pushed and you get pushed and you get pushed. And she was like, okay. The woman wouldn't stop the car. She's like, oh, okay. She rammed her car so hard into her car that the car flipped over 3 times. She gets out the car with a bat and says, give me the bag of money. Give me the bag of money. I ain't got time for this. She snatched the bag from her, and then the woman gets out the car only to come to find out that where she had been led to, because it's the way the enemy will do you, it leads you into a trap. That was a trap. Because now you got 5 gangster white boys. And she's in a rather, I don't want to use that word because it seems derogatory. One of them countries where, it's full of a bunch of racist people. So she black, she got a bat, and she's attacking a white person. This don't look good for all of these guys that are popping up out of nowhere. One's got a full rifle, and she like, look, I just trying to. She had my bag that I'm just trying to go. I ain't just let me go. And they're like, no, we want to know what's in the bag. This is the way the enemy do you. Job did not get attacked once. He got attacked several times. Alligator roll. Enemy will come at you in several different directions, and it'll be a mirage of attacks because he's trying to wear you out, hinder you, demonically delay you, obstruct you, distract you, and all of this because the point is to get you to collapse, which they done knocked her out at this point because the woman got out the car. She had dropped the bat, and while she was dealing with these dudes trying to tell them, look, I need to go, the woman that she turned her car over, she picked up the bat and knocked her out or go collapse. So meanwhile, the guy that was the sheriff, he's chasing behind her. He's trying to track where the family went. And one of his deputies contacted him and said, I see this woman in this descriptive car. And he says, no, that's the woman I've been looking for. I need you to back off. Because if this guy finds out that the cops are after her and tailing her, he might try to kill her and her family. So obviously you're like, oh, okay. So he stops the cops from coming. But he tails the family back down to the restaurant that they went to stop at because the daughter and the uncle are sitting there trying to discuss what had happened. And the daughter, she has a breakdown. She's like, why did life have to get so bad after dad died? Blah, 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 blah. But here comes the sheriff, and he's like, I don't know what's actually going on here. He comes, gets a chair, sits down directly at their table. He's like, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm going to tell you this. I don't know, she stole the money. I don't know how this occurred, but I'm going to tell you this. She's in trouble because if this guy finds her, it's going to be a very bad situation for her. So I need you to tell me everything that occurred because I need to find out. He's like, we already told the cops everything. What do you need us for? And he's like, where's the little boy? Because it was 4 of y'all, wasn't it? And they sat there and they looking at each other kind of like, He's like, and the uncle said, oh, he was in the car. And the daughter's like, yeah, mom had my brother in the car with her. Oh, okay. And he's like, all right, but I gotta let you know this. If you're lying or any type of situation, The person that's looking for her, if they find her or y'all gonna be in trouble. So he gets up and he leaves. The daughter runs out. She's like, I'm so sorry. Blah, blah, blah. So they end up in his vehicle, riding with him. Meanwhile, she wakes up. It's now dark, and they decided they wanted to play a game with her. Like, they wanted to play chicken. This is the way the enemy do you. Does he not? He think he got you tied up. He think he got you. And he's going to start teasing you. I got you this. I got you this. Mocking you. Tobiah, the mocking spirit. That's what they did when Naaman was, not Naaman, Nehemiah was building the wall. Tobiah was mocking. Well, these fools mocking, throwing around the bag, doing all this type of stuff. She's like, I need my bag. And they're like, yeah, how you gonna get it? And she's like, oh, okay. Y'all think that I'm out here for my health. I'm in a problem right here. I need the bag. Give me the bag. We as Christians have a tendency, I'm going to talk you down. I'm still going to try to talk you down because I don't want to get out of character with you. But you pushing my buttons, and the enemy really wants you to push that button. He wants to push that button. He wants to piss you off. And it's that element that some of us Christians, we kind of get into that phase like we try to stay on the nice side of being a Christian. We don't want to be on the side where I want to knock your head off. I don't want to be on the side where I'm Jesus coming into the temple and knocking everybody's head off. We just want to be that peaceful, especially as females. We want to come off like we're nice. And she's like, can you? And they're like, no. And laughing and joking. She's like, oh, okay. She manages to get the bat back. And she starts whacking up all these fools. She's like, I told you to give me my bag. And she starts knocking this person up, knocking that person down, knocking that person out. And then this big looking joker looks like Goliath coming at her. And this is what my point was. Some of y'all are in scenarios where God's getting ready to bring forth the Goliath character that you're going to have to fight. You're going to have to fight this battle. It's a fight that needs to be had. You've been trying to avoid the fighting part because I'm Christian. I don't fight. What do you mean fight? I only spirits. What you mean fight? That's what then, and God said, no, I need you to fight this one because they ain't going to respect you until they understand this is real. I'm coming back in part 3. Hold on.